Hello, happy Friday, and welcome to your NEWSMAX Daily for November 1st, 2024. Wow. The 44th Friday of the year, the first of 5 Fridays in the month of November, and All Saints' Day for Christians around the world following All Hallows' Eve last night, honoring our saints in heaven and the loved ones that we have lost. It's also the final Friday before Election Day, now only 4 days away. And you have to wonder at this point, who is going to say what today or over the weekend in a last-ditch effort, and what the ramifications may be?
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever. It's just that simple.
Mark Cuban just said, and I quote, "There are no strong, intelligent women around President Trump." Cuban's words are mean, sad, and misogynistic. And the left can't even define what a woman is. I am evangelist Alveda King, and I pray for my friend, President Donald John Trump.
Hi, this is Brooke Rollins. I feel it necessary to take a moment to respond to Mark Cuban's vile and sexist comments that there are no smart or strong women around President Trump. As the former White House domestic policy chief to President Trump, and for the last 4 years founding and leading the America First Policy Institute with another strong woman, Linda McMahon, alongside Kellyanne Conway, Carla Sands, Pam Bondi, Alveda King, but also thinking back to the last White House. Mark Cuban, did you know that we had more women on senior staff, working moms, than any other White House in the history of this country? So how dare you say that President Trump has no strong, smart women around him? Look at Susie Wiles, his campaign manager. Look at Laura Trump, the head of the RNC. Look at Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary of the current campaign, who runs circles around the leftist media all day, every day. For a party that can't even define what a woman is, shame on you.
Brooke Rollins is the former acting director of the Domestic Policy Council and CEO of the America First Policy Institute. Every woman that she mentioned on that post, and a few million others, also posted similar statements on social media. The only fan that Mark Cuban has today is Joe Biden, right? For taking the heat off of him and his garbage comment, which now has people showing up to vote in trash bags. For real, you've seen this on social media, I'm sure. Stores are actually having a run on trash bags. This is how crazy this whole election has become. As of this morning, more than 60 million Americans have already voted during early voting. Let's start with Rob Schmitt.
Kamala Harris has one road to power, and that is through women. With her tremendous incompetence, faux personality, and heavily mocked plan for America, she has destroyed every other coalition Democrats depend on. So she has women and she has abortion. She's bleeding black, Hispanic, and union votes throughout all 7 swing states. And in the left's major engines like Philadelphia, the Democrat turnout is ugly so far, down dramatically from 2020, almost by half in Philadelphia, as you can see right over my shoulder. So for Kamala, it is women or bust. And with that, we give you the insufferable billionaire Mark Cuban, whose rabid hatred of Donald Trump got the best of him this morning on The View.
Turns out Donald Trump is not even asking Nikki Haley for her help to try to reach her voters. What do you make of that?
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever. It's just that simple. They're intimidating to him. He doesn't like to be challenged by them.
Yeah, that'll help win over independent females. Insinuate that all the women in Trump's immediate orbit are just meek, subservient, and unintelligent. So here are some of the faces of the ladies that work most closely with Donald Trump. You recognize a lot of them from this show. Trump has trusted women to run his legal defense these past couple of years. He put one of the toughest women on the planet in charge of the CIA when he was the president, and nominated a woman to run the Department of Education for him as well. But we're not going to start pandering to women, or we're going to sound exactly like them, and we would never want to do that. And that's exactly how Mark Cuban sounded a few hours after his brilliant remark on The View, when he said he knows many strong, intelligent women voting for Trump, including in his own family, blah, 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 just digging the hole deeper and deeper. Yeah, right. And while Mark Cuban scrambles, the left wants to divert you away from his comments, of course, as they work to make this Trump comment from yesterday somehow the real story.
Kamala has imported criminal migrants, including savage criminals who assault, rape, and murder our women and girls. I want to protect the women of our country. I want to protect the women. Sir, please don't say that. Why? They said we think it's very inappropriate for you to say. So why? I'm president. I want to protect the women of our country. They said, sir, I just think it's inappropriate for you to say. Pay these guys a lot of money. Can you believe it? I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them.
Only with a media as ridiculous as ours could that comment somehow be weaponized, but you knew it would be. From the New York Times, Trump says he'll protect women, like it or not, evoking his history of misogyny. If nothing else, it's an incredibly entertaining time to be alive. Every day, you wake up to a shotgun blast of stupidity from our intellectual elite.
Rob Schmitt is the host of Rob Schmitt Tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern on NEWSMAX. I'll give you some more from one of Trump's 2 rallies yesterday and comments from the vice president as well. But first, sticking with it's an entertaining time to be alive for sure, this is last night's edition of Chris Plante and The Right Squad.
Come on, boys. Let's make America great again. It's your turn, buddy.
Before you cast your vote in this election, think about how it'll impact the people you care about the most.
Daddy!
Remember, you can vote any way you want, and no one will ever know.
Do your patriotic duty.
You bet I did, brother.
What happens in the booth stays in the booth.
It's like Las Vegas. That's multi-millionaire George Clooney, an actor of some repute, lending his voice to an ad that suggests that working-class men should secretly vote for Kamala Harris and then lie to their friends about it. It's a theme I see emerging here. The ad comes from the same PAC that we showed you yesterday on the big television program that tells women to hide their vote from their husbands and lie about it, too. It's the Democrat Party. They're recommending that everybody lie about everything because they're not liberals. They're the left. Meanwhile, a pro-Trump PAC, they've got ads too, and they've been refreshingly patriotic. They're on our side with a message of hope.
We're going to make America great again, greater than ever before. I will fight for you with every breath, and I will never let you down.
President Trump is literally putting his life on the line, and he's willing to risk it all because he loves this country.
So, Foldy, it's kind of an interesting and consistent theme the Democrats have. Last night, women should lie to their husbands and vote for Kamala and pretend they voted for Trump. And then they've got guys wearing plaid shirts from Minnesota and wearing beards, and they say, well, go ahead and vote for Kamala and tell your friends that you voted for Trump. So they want a nation of liars.
Democrats have really been trotting out these washed-up celebrities also. I mean, you look at George Clooney's movie record, and we've talked about this in the past. I don't think he's made a good movie since Monuments Men or...
Oh, come on. Ocean's 11 was a great movie.
That's like 40 years old at this point.
Stop. He's a good actor.
Completely washed up. Bruce Springsteen hasn't put out a half-decent song, perhaps ever, but certainly since the last millennia.
Kid Rock and Hulk Hogan are really relevant.
I agree that
they're making lots of relevant stuff.
Hogan is a man of a few decades ago. Kid Rock is putting out bangers still, for sure.
I'm more
these
worried.
Are the celebrities. These are the cream of the crop celebrities the Democrats are rolling out. Wow, they're in serious trouble.
Look, the bearded man.
Beyonce
she's not.
The bearded man who voted for Kamala there. He's going to the dressing up in drag and then going to the drag queen show. I mean, come on, let's be real. And I'm sure the wife ended up voting for Trump anyways. Look, I find the fact that, for Trump, the messaging has been very simple. I mean, it is, we're making America great again. It's inspirational. It's patriotic. It's hopeful. And it's bringing in, these men are pumped up. They're ready to go. A lot of women are as well. For the Democrats, it's all about deceit.
Right.
It's really confusing their messaging to the point that even a Democrat operative said, hey, guys, keep your message simple. And they've lost that. I think they've lost their way.
The summer of joy and brat.
It's about anger and fear and lie to your spouse.
That's former White House Director of Strategic Communication, Mercedes Schlapp, with Chris Plante and The Right Squad. That's weeknights at 10 o'clock Eastern on Newsmax. Check it out. And this is what Mercedes had to say about Mark Cuban's comment.
Kamala, you might want to get control of your male surrogates like, I don't know, President Joe Biden and Mark Cuban. Not only did Biden refer to so many Americans as garbage, but then you've got Mark Cuban attacking strong and intelligent women if they support Donald Trump. I'm sorry, but my mother, my mother-in-law, my daughters, and so many of my friends are voting for Donald Trump. Because sadly, Kamala Harris, y'all don't even know what a woman is, number one. Number two, so many women are suffering under your economic policies, being forced to work 2 jobs to be able to sustain their families. And women have been killed and raped because of your open border policies, where there has been no proper vetting in individuals coming into this country illegally. So you know what? Us strong and intelligent women, we're sticking with Donald Trump.
Again, that's former White House Director of Strategic Communications, Mercedes Schlapp. This is Donald Trump at his rally in Albuquerque, New Mexico yesterday, one of his 2 rallies.
She's making a speech. They're all looking at their phone, blah, 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 calling their girlfriend, calling their boyfriend. But all she talked about was Donald Trump.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I will speak about Donald Trump. Donald Trump, 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 Trump.
That's all she talked about. And that's it. That was exact. Although I got that from a fake news network, so you never know. No, that's all she talked about is Donald Trump. Let's talk about the economy. Donald Trump, this woman she suffers from a major case of Trump derangement syndrome. But many Democrats do, and that's because we're winning. We're winning by a lot. Everything Kamala says is a lie. She says that I want to take away Medicare and Social Security. That's a lie. You know that because for 4 years I just made it stronger. She says I want to end Obamacare and take away your health care. That's a lie. It's a lie. If we come up with something better, that'll be great. And everybody wants that because Obamacare sort of sucks. It's too expensive for the people. She talks about Project 2025, which I have absolutely nothing to do with. She says, I know that because of Project. Well, we've denied that. I have no idea what Project 2025 is. I've never read it, and I never will. But they make it sound like it's from me. She says, I want to ban IVF, a total outrageous lie. In fact, I'm going to require insurance companies to pay for IVF. And that was long, and many other things. I'm going to protect your Medicare, your Social Security. We're never ending it. She said we're in it. She never heard me say it. If she ever heard me, let her prove it. She gets up and lies. He's going to end Social Security. No, the nice thing is we can fight back because we have a voice, so we can fight back. We can tell you what's true and what's not true. But Kamala's open borders catastrophe, this is what's going to kill your Social Security. Her open borders will kill Social Security, Medicare, and frankly, will kill our country as a whole. It's going to kill us. According to a recent study, Kamala's plan, giving free health care for illegals, will rob Medicare of over $2 trillion. It will never recover, and I will never let it happen. The reason Kamala's campaign has been reduced, this desperate, pathetic stream of hoaxes and lies, is very simple. She's a liar. The entire world can see she's a total train wreck. And by the way, I looked at her this morning. She had a little news conference. It lasted for like 2 minutes. She's exhausted. You know? She's exhausted.
And this also happened at the rally yesterday, which again, some in the media are trying to put a negative spin on it. Like, look, he doesn't know where he is or what he's saying.
Colorado, you've been reading about it. It's terrible. Yes, doctor, please. Doctor in the house, please. Please take your time, doctor. Thank you. Medic, doctor. Thank you. Are they okay? Thank you, doctor. Take your time, doctor. We always have good doctors. That's one thing. We got a lot of doctors here. A lot of doctors, a lot of doctor support. Thank you. You've been waiting here a long time. Thank you.
Trump held up the rally for 3 or 4 minutes before asking if they can play some music. God Bless America, specifically while the doctor attended to a member of the audience having a medical emergency. According to the Albuquerque Journal, the local newspaper there were so many people eager to attend Trump's last-minute campaign visit to New Mexico. This is their words, not mine, that thousands were left outside of the rally watching Trump's speech on a large screen. And Vice President Harris was back in Pennsylvania yesterday.
His plan is to do what he has done before, which is to provide a tax cut for billionaires and big corporations, which will result in $5 trillion to America's deficit. In many, many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man. But the consequences of him being president of the United States are brutally serious.
The vice president and Donald Trump are both in Wisconsin today. Trump has a rally at the Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee, which is where the Republican National Convention took place back in July. That seems like a long time ago, right? And the Democratic Convention was in August, just 2 months ago, but also seems like a really long time ago. Trump also has a rally in Warren, Michigan today. The vice president has a rally at the Wisconsin State Fair Exposition Center. This is Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson on Newsmax.
Remember President Obama? Before he became president, he said, in 5 days, we're going to fundamentally transform America. And I asked the question, can you even like, much less love something you want to fundamentally transform? The example I use, I wake up in the morning, look at my wife, Jane. Jane, I love you, and I'm going to change everything about you. You need fundamental transformation. So that's the problem. I'm not saying Democrats. I think most Democrats love this country, but their leaders do not. And that's you can't lead a country if you don't love its people or the country itself.
You know Wisconsin well. Maybe we focus in on the state. It's a key swing state for a reason, right? The back and forth. Will it, won't it go red this time around? Senator, how are you feeling when you talk to folks? How are things looking so far?
Well, listen, I know people are going to vote for Donald Trump are highly enthused because they realize this is a make or break moment in America. In Wisconsin, every Wisconsinite, just to live, it's costing them $1,000 more than it cost before President Biden took office. You know, we're experiencing the open border with a flood of drugs, methamphetamine, fentanyl, overdoses. You know, we have some populations, 1,000 migrants into a little town like Whitewater, 15,000 overwhelming their education system, their law enforcement, their hospitals. So, we're feeling the negative consequences of Democrat governance, and I just hope and pray that the Wisconsinites have their eyes open and stop listening to the legacy media and start paying attention to what the truth and what the reality situation is.
Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson on National Report as both the Vice President Harris and former President Trump head for the Badger State today, Friday. The Trump campaign, by the way, got a $100 million injection from billionaire casino and newspaper owner Miriam Adelson, who donated the $100 million to a pro-Trump super PAC. She was going to donate like $50 or $60 million, but then after Mark Cuban made those comments, she ramped it up. No, I just made that part up. This was actually the other day before Cuban made that comment. $100 million to a Trump super PAC from Miriam Adelson. Yesterday, I talked about the California Senate race with Adam Schiff and former baseball star Steve Garvey, right? If you missed that, definitely go back and hear what Garvey had to say. Today, it's Texas Senator Ted Cruz and Democrat Colin Allred. Another highly contentious, very expensive race with enormous consequences.
I want to welcome in Texas Senator Ted Cruz, who is in the race of his life right now down in Texas. Already one of the most expensive Senate races, by the way, we've ever seen. Senator, great to see you. Glad you could be with me. I just want to ask you, you served with Kamala in the Senate. You know her. Did Joe and Kamala ever really like each other? Does any of this surprise you?
It doesn't. There's been bad blood between them from the beginning, but there's a big difference. Look, Joe is senile now. He's a puppet. He's not aware of what's going on. Kamala is a true believer. She is a zealot. I served with Kamala every day she was in the Senate from the day she got elected, and she has always been hard left 100% of the time. Her voting record is to the left of Bernie Sanders and to the left of Elizabeth Warren. Now, I serve with Bernie and Elizabeth. There ain't much room to their left. And yet she managed to get there. She is a hardcore ideologue, so everything you don't like about the Biden administration, if Kamala is president, God forbid, it gets worse because she is a true believer. And I will say, as you were doing your opening monologue and you were talking about the fun that Trump is having, McDonald's and the garbage truck, and you're right, he's having fun. And I couldn't help but think, what the campaign is showing is joy. They're having joy, which was Kamala's initial, what she tried to brand. Right. Now Kamala is just angry. Now they're hateful. Now their strategy is Trump is a Nazi, and anyone who supports Trump is a floating pile of garbage. And it's the same anger, it's the same condescension we saw when Hillary called all of us deplorables. And before that, it's the same condescension we saw when Barack Obama said that we were bitter and angry and clinging to our God and our guns. The radical left elite looks down on America. They think we're a bunch of uneducated, ignorant rubes. And every once in a while, the mask slips off and they tell us what they actually think. Yeah, they're doing that a lot now, Senator. I want to go to Texas. So you're running against Democrat Congressman Colin Allred. The polling has been close. 538, though, now has you up by just about 4 points. So that's a good number, just outside the margin. Why was this race closer than it probably should be right now? Well, listen, we are still in the middle of an epic battle. Chuck Schumer has been explicit that I'm his #1 target in the country. And they are flooding the state of Texas with cash. This is right now the single most expensive Senate race in the entire country. Chuck Schumer and George Soros are spending more than $100 million trying to beat me. Listen, it's not complicated. If you're a hardcore partisan Democrat, after Donald Trump, there is nobody in the country you want to beat more than me. So they are flooding the state with cash. There are attack ads. Every other ad on TV is an attack ad. And so I want to ask your viewers, please go to tedcruz.org right now. Go to tedcruz.org and give $10 or $25 or $50, whatever you can, because we are getting flooded. And I'll tell you, in the last month, we have had a dozen polls that show this as a 1 point or a 2 point or a 3 point race. We're getting massively outspent. So I need your help at tedcruz.org, because that's the only way we fight back is through your generosity at tedcruz.org. So I want to ask you why it's okay for Colin Allred, he's your opponent, to lie to the people of Texas. Yep. So for years, and look, Senator, we've got the receipts. He called the border wall racist, but now he says that he never said that. Take a look.
Do you still believe that the border wall is racist? And would you support legislation that provides funding to construct more of it?
Well, they're talking. That's a comment taken out of context, really.
Well, hold on. Here's the context.
And I want to really briefly talk about this racist wall, because the symbol of this country cannot be a fence with a barbed wire on top of it. It has to remain the Statue of Liberty. And I'll tell you what, if they build that wall, my generation will be the one that tears it down.
Senator, I'm wondering what you make of this new strategy from Democrats where they can just blatantly lie to voters. But also, that's a local reporter in the Permian Basin who was able to call truth to power there. It wasn't the national news doing it.
Well, listen, the strategy of Colin Allred and the strategy of Kamala Harris is the same, and it is fundamentally dishonest. They are both hardcore leftists. They are both open border radicals. Colin Allred is Kamala Harris. Colin Allred voted with Nancy Pelosi his first 4 years in Congress 100% of the time. Colin Allred voted with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden their first 2 years 100% of the time. He's supported open borders over and over again, and he's running the very same strategy Kamala Harris is. Both of them are hiding in Joe Biden's basement. I don't know what's in that basement, but they're down there. And they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars trying to lie to the American people. He's running ads right now showing him smiling in front of that thing he calls that racist border wall. He wants to convince people now he supports the wall. Kamala Harris is running ads with aerial footage of Trump's border wall, and it's fundamentally dishonest and deceptive.
Texas Senator Ted Cruz on Finnerty with host Rob Finnerty, 8 p.m. Eastern on Newsmax. So Trump and Kamala Harris are back in Wisconsin today. As I mentioned, Kamala is going back to Charlotte, North Carolina tomorrow, where Bon Jovi, who can't sing anymore, will be giving a concert. And that's not really a criticism of Bon Jovi per se. He has a vocal cord issue that forced them to cancel their tour. Or maybe he'll just speak on Harris's behalf and not actually perform, like Beyonce did in Houston, pissing everybody off. I lived in Charlotte not so long ago. As you may know, it is a beautiful city. In fact, I love it there. But gun violence is out of control. And I mentioned on X the other day, radio_Marino, maybe Kamala can address the large number of mostly black-on-black shootings while she's laughing it up with Charlotte's Democrat mayor, Vi Lyles, who is also a woman of color. Trump will also be making a stop in North Carolina tomorrow, Gastonia, which isn't that far from Charlotte. He has a rally in Greensboro as well, a couple of hours away from Charlotte, and Salem, Virginia. Super busy day. 3 rallies. J.D. Vance, the Republican vice presidential nominee, has a rally in North Carolina as well today, and Georgia. Then he'll be in Pennsylvania and Las Vegas tomorrow. On Wall Street, stock markets opened in the green this morning, bouncing back a bit from yesterday's big decline, powered in part by solid earnings yet again from Amazon, whose shares are sharply higher today. Oil is also up quite a bit, about $1.75, just over $71 per barrel now. Have a terrific and safe weekend of doing whatever it is you love to do on the weekends. Final weekend before the election, as I mentioned. Be sure to keep up with all of the news and all of the rallies on Newsmax and at Newsmax.com. Make sure you're streaming on Newsmax Plus as well, so you get the most complete lineup of all of your favorite Newsmax shows, hosts, and guests like political analyst Mark Halpern, Governor Mike Huckabee, Senator Rick Santorum, Senator-to-be Carrie Lake, retired General Blaine Holt, Hogan Gidley, Judge Napolitano, and many, many others. I'm Tony Marino, and thank you, as always, for stopping by the NEWSMAX Daily. Hope you're enjoying it. Share it with your friends and family. Let's go Dolphins. Big game against the Buffalo Bills. And keep on fighting the good fight.
News breaks every minute, every day. You need the app, the NEWSMAX app. Find it free on your smartphone store. Then watch us anytime, anywhere.
Hey, it's Jerry Callahan from The Callahan Show. You can listen to us every day. We react to the latest news, politics, sports, and all the madness in the world. I'll give you my opinion with a little edge, a little attitude. I'm an unapologetic right-winger, trapped behind enemy lines in deep blue Boston, so I'm used to taking on the mainstream media mob. You can hear us anywhere you get your podcast, or you can listen every day at newsmax.com/listen.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is NEWSMAX. It's real news for real people.